And thank you, Dr. Stepnov. I mean, I've learned a lot from you today, and your research is so important and really cool work. And it's the kind of thing that some of these organizations that I'm about to talk about report on, and some of the things that they share. So it's important that we have people that are caring about some of those long-term effects and some of those next things, because, you know, when I was maybe 13, 14 is when I feel like I first saw them coming out, like 10 years ago. And we thought that it was, I mean, I kid you not, we thought it was water vapor, or just like, we just thought it was so inconsequential. And so to see all this stuff come out, it's just important to keep doing this work. So, you know, our theme for this last one is Voices Against Vaping. And while we have been able to highlight a couple of, you know, amazing people that are doing good work in this area, of course, we didn't have time to talk about everybody, because there's actually a lot of groups doing this kind of work and things that are, and they're each focused on different things. So I just want to highlight a couple of them. This first one is Parents Against Vaping, and they do a couple of really cool things, but basically it's a couple of angry moms that are fueled by their being parents and caring about the youth. And so they do a couple of things. First of all, they do have a podcast. It doesn't look like they post super regularly at this time, but it's just hosted by a couple of they talk about some cool topics and kind of bring people on, similar to what we've done for some of these webinars. So if you've liked these, then you might want to check them out. They also have a couple of campaigns. This first one, Vapes Are Trash, I found super interesting because they talk about the environmental impacts. And it's actually interesting because, you know, we hear about the health impacts, and sometimes people are kind of like, yeah, whatever. But actually recently on social media, there was some stuff going around about how, I believe it's cobalt that's used in the production of these vapes is like, it's really inhumane the way people are working in Congo to get it. And it became this big thing on social media that people were quitting cold turkey because of that, but not because of the health effects, which, you know, is good. It's good that that's moving people enough to make them quit, but it's interesting to see like what speaks to people. But I mean, something that we don't think about, you see those cute little containers with orange or pink or bright green, and they have fun flavors, but they actually contain lithium ion batteries, heavy metals, plastics, and residue from the liquid nicotine, which is hazardous waste. So the vape industry is part of a decades-long history of exploiting people and the environment. And so Schools and Vapes Out, that's one that they just do back to school. I think it's kind of just posters. PAVE Educates is about providing tools for parents who want to speak at PTA meetings, conferences, webinars, things like this. And it kind of provides them a toolkit, things to talk about, research, stuff like that. SAVE is Students Against Vaping. It was founded by young teens, kind of uses the same curriculum as the other stuff. And then the last one is this Clear the Vapor conference that they host. And this year they had, it's annual. This year they had 38 speakers, and it's free, it's virtual. And actually that brings me to my next organization, because one of their sponsors is the Truth Initiative. The Truth Initiative, I feel like, is pretty commonly known, but maybe that's just because I'm one of the people that they target as like the younger age group, I guess. But they actually do their own research with the Truth Schroeder Institute. And they do like rigorous science-backed research and post it in peer-reviewed journals and share with like fact sheets and things like that. And they do a lot of prevention education for youth, which is really important. They also do press releases and things like that. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone else has seen their commercials, but they do a couple of things like that that are pretty intense. Good job on them, I think, getting the point across. They have quit tools. So they actually have this, it's called the X program. It was helped develop with the Mayo Clinic, and it's a quit program. They have live chat and online community and a ton of different things that help people quit. They offer digital curriculum for addressing vaping, nicotine, and prescription drug use. So it's not just this area. But then the youth and community engagement, I think, is really cool because they actually offer grants and scholarships to schools and students. So they offer grants to schools that will become nicotine or vape smoke-free campus, which is pretty cool. I know my school was, I believe, was a smoke-free campus in college. And yeah, so, and then they also provide scholarships to students that want to do this type of work and kind of need some help and push to be able to fund that. So the next is Quit Partner. I think that they really they don't do the research so much, but they provide tools for helping with quitting. So they have one-on-one coaching with trained coaches, 24/7 help with a call, a chat line, texts, emails. They can help get access to free medications for quitting, like patches, lozenges, gum, things like that. And they also have they have a ton of different programs. So this first one, My Life, My Quit, that's targeted at teenagers, so 13 to 17. They also have the American Indian Quit Line, the Behavioral Health Program, which is for people with things like anxiety, PTSD, depression, ADHD, schizophrenia, you know, a whole family of health problems that can make it more difficult to quit. And so they address those things specifically. They also have a pregnancy and postpartum program that has female coaches. So I like that they really have targeted help, and they have quit stories. Another cool tool that I think distinguishes them is a savings calculator. So they help people calculate how much they save by not doing it. And I think that has to be super motivating for a lot of people. So I think that they just come at things with a cool perspective that I thought was different from some of the other quit lines, and they just really emphasize celebrating every accomplishment. And so the next, I just want to like briefly touch on a few because there's so many good ones out there. But The Real Cost, they also do commercials and stuff, so I feel like you may have seen them, but they just kind of keep up-to-date info on harmful effects, and that's kind of all they do. Smokefree.gov I thought was really mentionable because they have specified quit programs for different groups. So veterans, teens, women, they have an Espanol program, 60 plus, and they also have things that address the specific challenges in quitting that might keep someone from quitting. So like fear of gaining weight, struggles with appetite, mood swings, cravings, triggers, all those things. And they also offer a couple of apps. And then Be Vape Free, they are hosted by Discovery Education, Catch My Breath, and CVS Health Foundation. And their main focus is school-age kids. And what I thought was cool and mentionable about them is that they offer virtual field trips, which is pretty cool. And then this one with the lungs over here, that one is End Vaping. They're also focused on the teen vaping epidemic. So I don't want to go too far into them because I know that we also have a lot of people that are not teens or don't have teens. But they are more of a blog sharing info and research. But what I found really distinguishable about them is that they help connect people with vaping related injuries to seek legal action and get representation. So that is what I found distinguishable about each of these ones. And then last but certainly not least is the American Lung Association. We definitely wouldn't have thought to do this or couldn't have done this without our partnership with the American Lung. And they're really the leading organization in this area. They are focused all on lung health through education, advocacy, and research. And what's really cool is that they hold a lot of events. So things for people to get together, like active things, climbing, runs, walks, cycling. They also have social events and a lot of different things that I'm sure some of our friends here from the American Lung could speak more on. And if you are interested in learning some more things about them, our speakers in the past vaping webinars from this series have been from American Lung. So just if you're interested in learning more, these were our 3 vaping webinars in our series here, and this is the 3rd and final one. We first focused on how it's impacting rural communities in particular. And then we talked about health impacts on mental and physical health. And I know there were some questions about that in this chat, so I want to direct you there. And then this last one was just highlighting more voices like Dr. Stepnov doing important work in this area. So sorry I had to talk kind of fast and fly through that. Of course, all of this stuff will be on our website and linked so that you can see some of these campaigns or follow them. Or I don't want to neglect the fact that we may have some people on here that are, vapors or tobacco users that are just interested in learning more, and maybe you want to quit and maybe you don't. But regardless, here are some tools that we can point you in the right direction. So thank you so much for being here today, guys, and for giving me a few minutes to speak, and for giving us up the opportunity to highlight Dr. Stepnov and the American lung. So